All right, today we're at Windrock taking a look at Talladega, which has recently been resurfaced on the top and middle sections. So these jumps are really smooth right now. This is the top section of Talladega. That's the first little table at the very beginning of the trail. And here is the second one. This one's really easy to overshoot. It's only 6 feet across. Kind of see some perspective there. And then the one it rolls into next is probably just the right size for the speed you have here. It's about 15 foot across. And then of course you get the 2 step downs before you run across the bottom of that little valley. But it still holds true to the traditional route. This rock drop is still a little nasty, so I like to come around the side. This isn't a major feature, but it is one that sneaks up on you. So I figured I'd get a little perspective on this. This is what you see me ride on the video. It's kind of a, not a wall ride so much, but just kind of a ride around. If you do come straight off it, you can huck this thing all the way down to flat, but I've done it and it pretty much bottoms out my fork every time, so it's kind of gnarly if you do it that way. And this table is still one of my favorites. Here's that really nice table after the kind of harsh berm. A little look at this. It's only 15 feet across. And this takeoff is just such a sweet angle that it's pretty much an effortless kind of jump. You just go with it, little brake tap so you don't overshoot it, because you can send this to flat without too much trouble. But one of my favorite jumps on this run. And then we get into that really tight left-hand berm that shoots you off the step down. In this step down, you really need all that speed from that berm to clear it. And here's that step down after that kind of tight berm. I always like to talk about this because it's a great example of how reality and GoPro just don't get along. This is the takeoff point, and that's the knuckle. It's 21 feet. And when you see it go by on camera, it looks like maybe half that. But it is a long send, and you pretty much need to rail that berm up there and then give a little pull to get over this and land it right where you want to, so you can get into that next jump. And that next one, it's really easy to overshoot that because it's a little bit shorter than it used to be. Great section of trail though. You really need all that speed from that berm to clear it. And the shark fin running great right now. And this is the shark fin, which really has become one of my favorite features. The thing with this is it's probably one of the few jumps on this line that really does require some commitment when you're ready to do it. If you take the high side of the takeoff and land kind of right in here, which is sort of the sweet spot, man, it's 27 feet from the lip to the lander, which is what you're seeing on the POV. So this is another great example of something that just kind of flies by so fast that it looks tiny, but it's a really significant pull. And the shark fin running great right now. And these upper berms also got resurfaced about 3 weeks ago. Got some nice rain, so riding so good right now. And they also reworked this lower section. So these jumps are a little different than they used to be, but still pretty close. Here we're looking at the 2 tables before the infinite berm. And this roller right here, the bike's leaning up against, is new from the resurfacing. And it really messed me up for a couple days until I finally realized my problem. When you come in with the correct speed to clear the next 2 jumps, you really can't come off this side because it's too big of a roller to squash, and it will throw you down and forward, and then you end up trying to pull and you just don't have the speed because you're trying to recover from how awkward this was. So what you want to do is actually come in, and you saw it on the POV, as high as you can, rider's left, and just kind of roll down this from up here, and then it's just a little bit of a help rather than getting bucked on the right side. So once you hit this on the high side and roll in, you do have to give that one a good pull. The one after is probably the best built jump on this entire run right now. Jumps really nice. Absolutely love it. Close. That one's perfect right now. And then we got the infinite berm. That's so fast, but you need it for this table. And here we have that last big table at the end of the infinite berm. And standing down at the base where I just was, the top is probably a few feet over my head. So this is just such a tall dirt mound that it can be a little intimidating. And you really need all the speed you get out of that berm to be able to clear this comfortably. It is 27 feet, just double checked it. It hasn't been resurfaced, so it's the same as it's been now for about a year. And it's a little rough coming in, but it is a fun jump. You just, man, you need a lot of speed for this thing. That table's almost 30 foot. And now we're getting into the lower berm section, which has not been resurfaced, so it's really rough right now. Love that little step down jump. Here's that smallish step down before the lower berm section. And it's kind of funky because when you come in, it does look blind. But it's only about 5 to 6 feet down if you land in the sweet spot, which is kind of past the knuckle. It's a pretty decent gap though. Good 15, 18 feet out. But that knuckle is just so rounded off that you can jump this anywhere from a few feet to almost 16 feet and really have no consequence. So if this is next up in your jump size list, this is a great one to give a go. Really like it. That rock is rollable. And here we're in the lower berm section. These are the ones that are pretty rough as you go down, but it's hard to see on camera how steep these are. They lose elevation really fast, so they don't really look like much when you're watching the POV, of course, like everything. But I want to give a shot of this grade as best I can, because that first one right up there with the little rock after it, man, it's got to be 15, 18 feet above my head standing down here just a couple berms later. So we're dropping quick, and then hopefully this perspective will help. Of course, there's the next one, and as you look down, you can kind of see going down pretty quick. Fun section, just hasn't been resurfaced in well over a year, so this bit is quite rough right now. That rock is rollable for your first time down. It's a nice thing about this trail is, although it is properly rated a black diamond trail now because of the size of the features, the first run you can roll everything and not really have to worry about any surprises. So it's one of the things I really do like about this trail. This jump, so smooth, but it gives you so much speed that it's kind of hard to hold on to those corners, especially with it being rough like it is right now. This bridge is rollable, but a lot more fun to just huck off the end of it. And now we're about 2/3 done already. The trail just runs so fast. You end up at the bottom before you know it. But as of right now, it is the only machine cut trail, top to bottom, on the mountain. And this bit is so fast. Got to get that catch berm. And then this hairpin will surprise you if you're not ready for it. So here's that steep section after the trail intersection. This is kind of hard to see even from this still perspective, but this gets so much speed through here. And you can really hold all of it as long as you hit this catch berm. And then right down there is where that hairpin left is. So you can see the roller that I like to jump off of right in here. But as soon as you land that, you really have to drop the anchors. And next time you're out here riding this, fun fact, I was following a very good rider yesterday. I won't say who because I don't like the name game. There's a rock right here, and they pulled up off that rock and gapped all the way to here. It's kind of mind-blowing to see. I'll pace it off real quick. Yep, 42 feet maybe. Absolute send. Really cool to see it. Ready for it, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Oh, love that jump. And after these next two berms, there's a step down that you need to send about 15 feet to get these next two jumps. This is the last major feature I want to look at in this line. These last two tables require so much speed to clear that you really, at least in my experience, I never was able to clear them until I was able to huck off this and land pretty much 75% of the way down. I'm guessing that's probably at least 15 feet, maybe a little more, maybe close to 18 by the time you're really landing it. And it's a hard landing from that far up, but that's kind of what you need to do. The warning, I guess, is first time you ride this, that berm up there, it really does push you hard off of this, which you need if you're gonna huck it all the way down. Just don't let it sneak up on you and jump off that unprepared, because it can be a little sketchy if you come off that faster than you're expecting. And this jump is actually a little bit of an odd one. You kind of have to keep your bike sort of level coming off of it, which is different than all the other jumps in this line. So just know that this one does feel a little weird. The one after it is pretty typical feeling. Because those require a lot of speed. It took me about a year of working through that trail before I could clean it at all. And those last two jumps were the last thing I ticked off. Everything from here down is common for all the trails that run out, and it's really smooth. Nice rolly flow. You can go pretty fast if you want. But this is all the new trail to get out to the new pickup if you haven't been here since they've opened the bike shop. The bike shop used to be right back there in a container, and now they have a proper building and a really nice parking area, pickup area. And all this trail we're seeing now is what they added to get over to the new pickup. These are kind of cool. And then this is a really sweet little line. And now we're at the pickup. So that is Talladega, first week of the winter series, or season, excuse me.